Hey garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and today I'm going to show you how I fertilize my seedlings that I've started this year. The fertilizer I use is Neptune's Harvest. It's a fish fertilizer. This also comes in a blue bottle, which is a fish fertilizer as well. I forget what the difference is. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. But either one, the blue or the orange, would work perfectly fine. Now, when you're fertilizing your seedlings, you want to make sure that you're using the right dosage based on what the bottle is saying. So here you can see it says seed germination. That's the one we're going for. So for seed germination on this bottle, it says soak in a solution of 1 teaspoon per cup of water. I'm going to be fertilizing all of my seedlings upstairs and downstairs. So that's a lot of seedlings. So what I am doing is putting 6 cups of water into this vase here. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the fish fertilizer in that because there's 3 teaspoons and a tablespoon. So if I have 6 cups, that means that I need 2 tablespoons based on the instructions of the bottle. A quick side note, now you want to fertilize your seedlings 1 time per week. Often I go a little over a week because life just happens, but I recommend writing down in a calendar, which I've already done, when you fertilized your seedlings, so you can easily go back to remember and see how long it's been. Okay, so let's go ahead and mix this. I'm going to put the fertilizer in first, and then I'm using a spray mister bottle. Oh, the whiff, the aroma. Side note, this stuff smells terrible, so just know that and then carry on. I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons and put this in before I put in the water. Strong, it's strong, just be ready for that. The things we do for our plants. And then I'm gonna add my 6 cups in here that I've already measured out. And because I put in the fertilizer first, this is pretty well distributed in the water, as opposed to putting the water in first and then putting the fish fertilizer in. And now it's time to fertilize. If you are doing any vegetables, you can use the one that's specifically for tomatoes and veg. Still a Neptune Harvest fertilizer. I don't have any vegetables going right now, but if I did, I would use this one. Just a little different makeup. So we're gonna start with my blotch pansies that I started in my shade starting video from earlier this year. I have transplanted them up into bigger pots and they're doing great. So I'm gonna come through and fertilize all of them, including the foliage. Foliage, same thing. And I really like this mister because I get a nice soft spray instead of a fast directed pressure spray. Again, just coming in here, making sure I get the foliage too, and moving on. I'm not trying to weigh down the green parts, but I'm ensuring that I get them. Now, if the foliage on these was not as big or was smaller, I would be a little more delicate than I am with these since they're more grown. I'll put these back and I'm moving on to my Lisianthus. This is the first tray I planted, so you can see these are a little bigger. I'm okay with some water, or fertilizer I should say, on the leaves of these, even if it's dripping a little bit, whereas something that is less big, like this one up here in the corner, or this little itty bitty 2 down here, I'd be a little more careful on those. Now it's important to make sure you have a fan running on these. Mine is back here to get some movement going and so that they're ready when they have to harden up outside to be ready for some of the elements of outside. Also, to flush some of that smell out from the fertilizer, that helps a little bit. And Lisianthus likes to dry out a little bit between waterings, so that also ensures that they're getting plenty of space to breathe. I'm still mastering them, but it's an improvement over last year. Now I'm gonna do my Iceland Poppies. These have recently been sown, so I don't have any coming above the surface yet. And usually if that's the case, I just water them, either bottom water or I actually do a misting on top of these. Some people say you shouldn't do that with Iceland Poppies, but I am. I usually, like I was saying, I usually don't come in and use fertilizer in something that hasn't germinated yet. But because I'm doing it today with everything, I'm just gonna go through and do it with everything. Nothing crazy, not heavy-handed. Really nice, subtle mist here. And done. It shouldn't hurt them. If you're an Iceland Poppy expert and it does hurt them, please comment below and let me know. Okay, now we have the Iceland Poppies that I went through and I actually thinned these earlier today. Now, I've watered them as well, so I'm checking to see how wet they are. You see if there's any water in the bottom tray. Oh yeah, they're heavy. No, they soaked up all the water. They were pretty dry earlier. I don't want to get them too wet. And I've already got a little bit of algae on some of these, just a little bit. I didn't vermiculite this first batch, and I'm saying I probably should have for these. Either way, I'm just gonna do the lightest misting. That should be okay. I'm gonna take this down to the basement where the rest of the seedlings are. Start with my newest grow light that I just made. I will link a video down below for you on that. I'm really happy with it so far. We're gonna start on this side and then we'll do my old one that I made last year. Down here, I've got things that are still germinating. I just took off the tops of them. These were sown on February 16th. I've got Bells of Ireland and then 2 different types of Foxglove. And in the back here, I've got some Iceland Poppies and Dusty Miller. The Dusty Miller and most of the Foxglove have not germinated much. There's a couple. Same with the Iceland Poppies, not a lot. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna come in here and do some lightly over most of them. These Bells of Ireland are really pretty big though, so I'm gonna make sure I get the foliage on those. Oh my gosh, wrong one. This is regular water. Don't mix up your cans. Now we have Snapdragons. I'm so pleased and excited for my Snapdragons. They've germinated, they're looking really good. There's only one tray I have that hasn't germinated very well, and I'm still trying to get that one going. But these are the first tray that I did, and that was on February 11th, and they're looking great. So I'm gonna bring you down to see a little closer look. So all the Potomacs are here. I have not gone through and thinned yet. And back here we have all the different bronze ones. So Opus 3, Chantilly bronze, Madame Butterfly bronze. I'm just so pleased with them. Actually, I'll just show you my other 2 trays of the Snapdragons too that I planted a little bit behind those first sets. You know what? I'm wrong. I just double checked the tag. These were sown on February 11th too. But I didn't get quite as good at germination on these. Still pretty good though. And this tray I actually forgot and left on that shelf right there. So same thing, I'm gonna come through and make sure I get the foliage as well and mist these babies up with some fertilizer. And then in this next section we have some sweet peas, 2 trays of those, and then back here Bells of Ireland. Let's take a look. These sweet peas here are still germinating, the lid's in the back there. Still going to fertilize all of them, including the foliage. These are farther along, and aren't these interesting? These are the Heirloom Electric Blue, and their leaves are different than the sweet peas I'm used to, which is this. Almost looks more like rosemary. And then my Bells of Ireland, which I think this is the best germination I'm going to get. I've got 12 up out of 24 cells, and they were planted on February 16th. I'll have to double check how long it takes to germinate, but we'll give them a good fertilizing here. And rather than spraying in toward the actual seedlings like this, I'm going to put them on the floor and spray down. It's just a little easier, I think, to get a better coverage on all these cell trays, including the actual foliage. The soil is actually really dry on these, so I'm gonna do a little double take here. Okay, we've got one more place to go that I didn't mention earlier, so I guess it's kind of a surprise. I have moved some things out to the greenhouse for at least the duration of the day when it's nice out. So let's grab this, I've still got some left, and go see those. And I forgot this. Let's knock these out real quick first. Ooh, hey! Looky here! You guys, these are the hardy annuals that I just sowed a little bit ago, and there's great germination in both trays. The 25th is when I sowed these, and it's the 28th. 3 days, tons of germination. I'm hoping you can see this over here. Those Bachelor buttons are going crazy. And the stock. This tray's a lot of stock. Ah, I tell you what, it's almost like Christmas morning. Definitely rivals it. Going out to the greenhouse now, it's 50 degrees out, 50. All right, now we're in the greenhouse. The temperature was at 60. Now it's right around 50, so it's dropped a little bit, which is fine. Everything I have in here is fine with that. I've got my sweet peas. So these other things that are germinating are primrose and violas. And then back here I have my Bluplerum and Larkspur. Because it's a little chillier now, I am gonna close the door so we can keep a little more warmth in here, and then later tonight I'll come in here and get these and move them inside just to be safe. I forgot my fertilizing can. I'll get it in a second. I wanted to cover why we fertilize seedlings. So if you look at the front of your fertilizer, it has 3 numbers. For example, this one has 2, 4, and 1. Those numbers stand for specific nutrient. The first one is nitrogen, the second one is phosphate, and the third one, potash. Plants need these to really thrive. Some people don't fertilize, and that's okay, but I noticed last year the fertilizer really gave me strong, healthy seedlings that turned into beautiful blooms. So I'm an advocate of it so far. You may do what you please, of course, but that's what those numbers mean and why it's important, because the plants don't get that from regular water. So I'm gonna come through and simply do the same thing on all of these. We've got some little itty bitty frizzle sizzles violas coming up. Again with the sweet peas, making sure I get all of the foliage as well. And that concludes our fertilization process. So please comment below and let me know if you have any questions or how you fertilize your seedlings that you found is really helpful. That's always great to share with everybody. And I do think next year I'm gonna do it a little differently maybe. It can be time consuming. This whole process takes me about an hour to do all 3 of the grow lights, and then also in here. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden here and to stay updated with the progress. Otherwise, that's it. We are done here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Happy planting! Bye! Quick last minute tip. I always wash this out after, and I don't use this one for regular waterings. I try and just keep this container for fertilizing. And you will stink. So change your clothes, maybe take a shower if you need to go pick up your son or children or go anywhere like I do. Or don't, and it's fine too. Okay, bye!